Welcome back to Tailosive Tech, everyone. I've been getting a similar question for quite a while now, and I haven't really addressed it, but I think it's an interesting one, because for quite a while, I really hadn't thought of an answer for you, but now I think I've got one. So lots of you out there were asking for iOS to get some kind of file explorer. What would this be called? Maybe like Finder, because that's what it's called on the Mac. Basically what it is a drop-down layout of all of your files. The Finder way of exploring what's on your computer, which is lots of drop-down menus, clicking, opening folders. The idea behind that was you could get a lot of information about your computer in a small space, in a window, right? You could get long lists of names of everything you had to conserve space, so there's not like a whole giant window filling up your whole desktop. You have room to move things around. You can click and drag things into other stuff. That's a good idea, and it's been around for a long time, decades now. Hasn't really changed that much either. But when they designed iOS, I think they realized they couldn't go with that same layout of viewing your files. Personally, I think what iOS does is actually better. And I get Android has that, but look, I'm not missing it. That's not a feature I love about Android. The difference with a touchscreen is that whatever app you're using, you want to take up as much space on the screen as possible. Like when you launch an app on your phone or your iPad, you're not really opening a window. You're covering the whole display because it's a touch interface. As we all know, when you're touching with your fingers, you cannot really be as specific as you can with a point-and-click mouse. Since a point-and-click mouse is not planned on being added to any kind of iOS device, rightfully so, I think that would just make it a laptop, there is no need for a file explorer because all the files you need to get to are in their designated apps. That, I think, is way more efficient than trying to manage through long lists of things you have on your device. Instead, just open the app that has that information in it. It's honestly really quite clever what they did instead. So let's look at two different scenarios here. When I take an SD card and I plug it into my Mac, like when I edit these videos, I take all the footage that's inside it and drag it into a folder. I can do that very easily with the trackpad or a mouse or whatever. I can just click, hold shift, select a bunch of clips at once, drag them in there. Great, it's real efficient. What happens though when I plug an SD card into my iPad? Different story. Instantly, Photos launches, every photo and video, and I can import them, and I can select which ones I want to import. I can hit select all, and I import them, and they stay in the Photos app. But of course, what if I want to access those videos? What if I want to edit something? Well, very simply, I just go straight to the video editing app, and there is all the video that is on my iPad. I didn't have to go find it. I didn't have to go import it. It just knew, here's what you have to work with. I'm gonna put it out for you. That to me makes a lot more sense. Maybe it'd be a different story if you're on a Mac, because with a desktop or a laptop, it's not ideal to have applications that take up the entire screen. Most of the time, you're gonna have lots of windows and sometimes multiple desktops full of different applications doing different stuff. With an iPad, you can really only run two apps at once. So I don't see the point in having a click and drag feature to iOS because that would honestly be a lot more complicated. So I get there's a lot more options with the desktop and laptop because you have those files. You can kind of go deep into the folders of every little app and change things if you want. Take music and move it to a different folder and stuff like that. iOS is definitely a more encrypted and locked down system. Yes, that closes doors for options and customization, but I think the beauty of it is that it made things simple because a touch interface has to be made simple. If we presented all the same little switches and buttons and file folders, you would end up with something that's like you know, Windows 10. I'm not saying Windows 10 is doing a terrible job with the file explorer in a touch interface. I'm just saying when I had my Surface Pro, using the Finder and selecting different clips with the touchscreen was not ideal. Every time I started doing that, I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna plug in the mouse. This is way easier. No, what was the point in having a touchscreen if using File Explorer with the mouse was easier? I don't know, but you guys have that option. Mac users don't. I get that. You got us there, but it's not a feature I'm missing, and I really don't think they're gonna add it to iOS 11, so don't hold your breath on that. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's an interesting topic. I'm sure many of you disagree with me. Let me know in the comments below what you think. That's fine. I get so many comments now, it's hard to read all of them, but I'll do my best. But I can't blame you for trying. I mean, we're running out of things for iOS to do. My iOS 11 wish list is honestly not going to change that much, and I doubt Apple's even going to do what I want. But we can always hope, right? I'd like to see someone try to do a File Explorer type deal. Who knows? Maybe Apple can make it work. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one.